Okay.
Good morning, Napa Valley. Greg Ramsey here for another edition of Back from the Edge. Usually our format is how do we live a long life? But today the thought is what if we live? What do we do then? How do we ensure financial stability? So to answer some questions, my guest Justin Corpus to tell us how to die rich. Hello, Justin. How are you?
Good. How are you, Greg?
Wonderful. Blessed to be alive. Proverbs 13:2-22 says, a good man leaves wealth for his children's children. So how does one get wealthy in old age?
At old age,
Yeah, how does one prepare
for how does one prepare
for lifetime wealth?
for lifetime? Okay, so well, there's I mean that's kind of I guess I can expand on that, but I think it really depends on where you're at in your life, whether if it's just entering your career field or in the middle of your career field or um, towards the end. So there's always different stages. So I can't say it's a cookie cutter way. I think it's more so of understanding where the person is at and then filling those gaps on where they want to be, right?
Ah,
So yeah, so basically, if they're in their early to mid 20s, I'd say just invest early and often. Start saving. Don't, I mean, like, of course, the typical school of thought is to, cut back on your expenses, but I would say more so of like, how could we create and generate more income? How could you be of value to the marketplace, right? So I would say, go out there, pursue something that you really want to have a bigger impact for others, right? I think for me, I got into this industry 10 years ago when I was a young 19, 20-year-old. And so I was very fascinated by money in general and just the different strategies. And obviously, that I also was a trainer as well too, right? And like, I think for me, my heart was always to serve and to always to help others, right? And so even I learned that from the experience of training and guiding people or guiding people to a healthier lifestyle. And so that's the thing is like I think I can't say there's one specific way, one specific strategy. I think it's more so of a layering of tools and good habits and also making sure we're good stewards of our money, right? Because we don't take any of this with us. You
oh
know,
yeah.
yeah, we don't take any of this with us. So I would say just being a good steward of our money, making sure we're allocating it towards the things that we know that can build, God's kingdom as well too. So
Maximize the rule of 72.
exactly maximize the rule of 72, which is compound interest, right?
How does that work?
So it's basically your money making more money, right? So it's the rule of 72, right? Take the number 72 divided by the rate of return, and that's how many years it's going to take for you to see your money double,
Oh
right?
wow.
So so I think it's just once people understand the rule of 72 and just compound interest in general, I think they would be more inclined to invest more, right? And so so what are like some actual tangible investments that you can make? What are some things that you can have? So number one is like very bare minimum is obviously a bank account, a high yield savings account. I don't know, 3 to 4% interest, right? So that's not, and the interest rates fluctuate every year. So now the next point is going to be getting into stocks, right? Stocks, bonds, mutual funds, ETFs, right? But those fluctuate up and down with the market. So just know what you're investing into and why. Because I think sometimes we get into an investment just to make money and not necessarily try to understand the investment itself, right? Like let's say, for example, oh, we want to get into Apple stock. Well, do you have an Apple iPhone? Do you have Apple AirPods? Do you have like so like or even for this, like there's the whole GameStop thing. People just go in it to just make more money, but have a actual criteria in order for your investments. Like there's has to be a list of criteria, whether that be how long they have been in business, what the valuation is, what the average return is, all of those different things. And then there's the stocks, and then there's now the ETFs, which is groups of stocks put together, right? And then same with the mutual funds and same with the indexes, which is going to be the S&P 500, it's going to be the Dow Jones, the Nasdaq, all of the above, right? So those are some actual tangible investments. And then there's again foundational assets, right? I don't consider these investments. I see more so as this as a different asset class. Let's say like a piece of real estate, right? That's a different asset class. Actual tangible investment and tangible asset, right? There could be cash value, just like what we talked about before, cash value life insurance as well as a foundational asset. Is that the end all be all? No. This is just the point where, hey, this is going to grow safe and productively, and you can leverage this money to go into other things that you want, that you believe in, right?
Right.
Because it's always having a layered approach. So it's always being diversified on what you provide. So in the cash value life insurance, a lot of people can be skeptical. I'm just going to be honest, just be skeptical with it just because um, there's a lot of stigma around it. Just a lot of stigma in terms of like, oh, it's expensive, or it's this, or it's that. But if you're going to someone who doesn't know what they're doing, or is more so trying to make a commission or high commission and make money out of that, then you're going to the wrong person. You want to make sure it's minimize death benefit, minimize commission, maximize cash value for the client.
Right.
Yeah. So I think that's the thing is like people have such a big misconception when it comes to that cash value life insurance, because then that can be leveraged for what? Debt consolidation. That can be leveraged for buying real estate, right? That can be leveraged for financing specific things, maybe for your business. I just got out of appointment where we're leveraging for someone's business to open up a shop, right? So, because sometimes people might not get the business funding through a bank or through personal, just because of credit. So I think it's just more so of having that as a foundational asset and then layering it with other assets like your stocks, like your ETFs. I have all of the above. So now it's just a matter of, okay, what is the strategy now, right? Because everyone's going to have a different timeline on when they want to retire or when or what they want to achieve, what their goals are. Because it's never going to be any advisor that puts you in a random fund and charges you a fee and that just like doesn't contact you ever again is the wrong person to be around. And you want someone who's going to be with you every step of the way. And that's what I
Right.
really
Hold
take.
your hand.
Yeah, and that's what I really take pride in doing this, because it's I have quarterly reviews with clients, and just in a few months, people are earning 6, 7, 8, 10 double-digit returns just starting out with me. So
Ah.
so I think that's just the thing is like, okay, well, is this going to be supplemental retirement? Is this going to be an asset that you want to leverage for other things? Is that what is the use for this? That's the main thing.
Wow. So, um, so you kind of hit the ground running. You goals too. But now, what are some legal ethical tricks? I know the Rockefeller Foundation, for instance, they have foundations. They never use their own money. They borrow from their whole life policies.
Exactly.
They have a foundation and a estate. The estate planning it sounds over my head.
Yeah, and I think with that, though, like not many people will agree with the Rockefellers in general, but as far as their strategy and like what they actually implemented is what's called the waterfall method, right? To where these policies actually have been leveraged and there's a board of trustees. Like, so say if there's a Rockefeller that wanted to get a loan for a business opportunity, they have to go through the board of trustees. And so now they create their own family bank, right? But basically what happens is with the waterfall method, they buy the policies and then they set up the trust to where, God forbid, something happens to them. Okay, the death benefit pays out and automatically buys another policy for the next person in line or the next person in generation, and then it continues. But these are whole life policies, so these have actual equity built inside of it. So, so that's the thing is like they use what's called the waterfall method, and they have different holding companies, they have different things. It's like the whole thing with own nothing, control everything, right?
I
So
like that.
yeah, own nothing, control everything. So it's just everything's out of their name and under their corporation or under holding companies, whether if it's their real estate, whether if it's their investments, whether if it's their policies, it's all under a holding company, which then that trust is actually designed to automatically buy the next generation or maybe the next person who was born another policy, right? And it continues, and that's how they're able to sustain the generational wealth, which is
Wow.
just the trust design. And so the type of trust that they use is called an irrevocable life insurance trust. It's ILIT, where it's actually very obviously it's irrevocable. You can't change anything, but it's automatic each time. So the payouts by the next person a policy, then the next person, right? And then now, not only do they have that, but they also have a lot of cash value that they can leverage and use as well too. So
That sounds so exciting. If I'd known that when I was your age, I'd be a billionaire now.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I think the main reason why I am so intrigued by some of these strategies is just because I want to be able to give it back to our community and give it back to the people that don't know about it. Because sometimes we go through our whole lives not knowing about these very in-depth, complex strategies. And so that's my whole goal is to bring that knowledge and that like because I've worked with some pretty high net worth individuals and to be able to pass that on to the next generation or even to just my own community, whether they take it or not, right? Because if you're going to be open to the information, some people will be open, some people won't. But that's the thing is if you're open, then you can open the door for other opportunities that could be sustainable for the generations to come for your life. And
So
then
seeking ye shall find.
what's that?
So seeking ye shall find.
Exactly. Matthew 6:33.
Yeah,
Yeah. And
very
then,
good.
or actually, Matthew 6:33 seeks first his kingdom. But um, that's a scripture that I live by as well too. But yeah,
Me
that's my
too
main thing.
now. Me too.
Yeah, and that's my main thing in providing this is just making sure that people are aware, right? About the financial literacy, whether if it's um, what if they're open to it or not, right? And like, this is my thing. I was told this by another individual. I was like, making sure that people have in mind that works like a parachute, right? Because the parachute only works when it's open,
But
right? So just being open to just learning more in-depth strategies and learning more complex strategies and implementing them, right? Because the knowledge is there, but if we don't apply it, what's the use of that knowledge? You know?
it seems to me one must be interested too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm
Interested.
seeking now. I'm seeking hard. So for years I didn't care about my health That's why I had strokes. I was overweight, a glutton. I almost died. So, so now I care about health a lot. So now I know more than most people do. So now I'm trying to do the same thing with finance. Learn about finance to pass on wealth to my kids. I don't want to die a loser.
You're not a loser at all. You are doing everything you're doing everything that you need to do, right? And you're looking out, you're not a loser at all.
Well,
Don't
well,
don't don't say that about yourself.
one must ensure that by trying until they die. Keep trying, keep improving, keep learning. So
Yeah, yeah, you just gotta keep continuing to put one foot in front of the other, and that's it.
exactamunda. So so what should a guy do at my age to be wealthy before he dies?
I think if you want to be able to, I mean, it's going to, I can't say one thing or another. It's going to depend on where you're at and what you want to do right now. If you want to leave something behind, that's a whole nother thing. That's a whole nother story where it's like, okay, well, you can at least set up some sort of low cost, policy to at least leave something behind, a few $100,000,
Yeah,
right? And then, so that's something that you could do. But again, like I can't say if the main goal is to leave something behind, that's more so of looking for what you can apply for protection. That's it, you know? So it just has to be the protection component to it. Um, as far as for accumulating wealth right now, you have to be extremely aggressive,
yeah, oh
extremely
yeah,
aggressive, extremely aggressive now. And there's not going to be one investment, one thing that's going to generate, and then I think also too, using yourself and how you, like I said earlier, how can you be of value to the marketplace, right? So it's just like if you add value to others, you become more valuable. So that's one way. So it's like investing in yourself, investing into other investments. It could be real estate, it could be whatever your risk tolerance is. And then if your goal is to leave something behind, then I say leave a low cost, maybe whole life, um, maybe even universal, um, as far as that, just to keep it low cost, so that way you leave something behind for an individual. So, so that's my whole take on that, you know, is just making sure that we're on top of um, being of value. That's it. And like as far as someone your age, I think you have to be really aggressive in almost everything that you do right now.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I want. I have two businesses I want to start. That'll take a lot of guts, a lot of smarts, and maybe some luck and blessings from God. So I'll make sure I plan right, be ethical, and leave it to God, I guess.
That's all you got to do is just leave it to God and let go and let God.
Cool. So, so how are you doing there in Fairfield?
Oh yeah, I'm doing great, man. I'm living out in Fairfield, living out in Sassoon now, and it's been good. Business has been really good. Business, like has been thriving. I mean, business is going to ebb and flow, but that's just, the lifestyle that I chose, right?
Yeah.
But um, I think for me, I'm just looking to see ways I can add value to others and see ways I can educate, having these different types of seminars, bringing in these professionals, right? These professionals that are actually very successful, very strategic in their approach. So, so yeah, I mean, it's just, I take every day one step at a time.
You You team with realtors and such?
Realtors, mortgage advisors, tax strategists. And we now have a partner with business credit funding as well. So if you need the funding, that could be something that I can connect you with. Um, there's a lot of I have a lot of people on here and a lot of partners with the business that can either help you grow, protect, or get funding for your business or funding for whatever you need, right? Because a lot of people like to use OPM, which is other people's money, right?
Uh,
Yeah, so OPM. So a lot of people like to leverage, like obviously Dave Ramsey's not like that, but then if you look at Robert Kiyosaki, he's the exact opposite. He's like, I would say almost to the point where he's over leveraged, you know? So, but he has millions of dollars in cash flow every single month. So that there's multiple ways to skin a cat. That's what my thing is. And there are going to be different components, different pieces to someone's overall um, financial portfolio, whether if it's a protection piece, whether if it's a banking alternative, whether if it's, trust design, whatever it is, like it all comes down to strategy. And sometimes people just don't know about these things, and they're not aware. And so what happens is it's out of sight, out of mind, and they could have saved hundreds of thousands of dollars if they actually went to a good tax strategist or went to a good estate planner or went to set up things correctly, right? So,
yeah, intelligent planning makes a whole difference, huh?
yeah, absolutely. I think it's more so we can, but again, it is intelligent planning, but it's also taking action too and getting the experience because I think a lot of people tend to be um, so consumed by the knowledge that they don't go out there and actually pursue things.
Yeah, so busy learning they never just go do it.
Exactly.
I love art. You're probably too young to know Art Williams, but Art Williams
Yeah.
would say, "Do it and do it and do it and do it and do it till the
Yeah.
job
Oh
gets
yeah.
done."
Yeah, I remember that speech. Yeah.
Good speech.
Yeah.
Wonder if he's dead.
Hmm?
I wonder if he's still alive.
Yeah, I don't know. I think maybe he passed away.
I love the speech and stuff. I'm tired. Just do it. I can't. I'm poor. Just do it anyway. It's so tough. So tough. Probably a great coach too.
Hmm.
His beginnings was a high school football coach. They carried that into business. He carried that into business.
Hmm.
The rah stuff.
Yeah.
I love this seminar. So pumped up.
Yeah. And with the like I love the energy that brings and the rah stuff. I do love that. But at the same time, like because I don't think that's it's a motivational piece, but it's more so it comes down to like the discipline because what happens when that motivation wears off,
Right,
you know?
exactly.
So, so what happens with that? And then what happens when the motivation wears off? Are you disciplined enough? What happens when you don't like you don't feel like it?
The
What happens,
famous caveat. The famous caveat.
Yeah. Yeah, so yeah. But it's good to see you, man. Good to
Okay,
see you.
yeah, we've got 2 more minutes here. I'm watching
Okay.
the clock. Uh, yeah, yeah. We'll go. We'll follow your lead. Get rich, you watch. As
What's that?
I'll follow your lead. and my viewers will too. How can folks contact you?
Oh yeah, so you can visit truevierfinancial.com, TRUEVIR financial.com, or you can email me at justin@truevierfinancial.com, or reach out to me via cell phone 707-225-1042.
Love it. Folks, I recommend Justin highly. He's the most honest guy I know. Young, charismatic, sincere. So call him. He'll make you a fortune for you if you do your part.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll stay tuned and see how we do here.
All right, man. Well,
So,
thank you again. It's good to see you again. I hope you're staying, you know, can still doing your fitness thing as well and still eating well. Hope
oh
you're
yeah,
doing, yeah. So I hope everything is well. And
oh
then,
yeah. Get fit, don't quit.
yeah.
Try till you die.
Mm-hmm.
I know too many rhymes.
Yeah. Yes.
That's
But
my new T-shirt line. Lots and lots of slogans. I'll show you my T-shirt someday.
yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
Well, like I said, great to be with you, and continue to do what you need to do. Continue to put one foot in front of the other. We'll definitely stay in touch, and let me know if there's anything else that you need.
oh yeah, there'll be a legacy. We'll talk more about trust funds.
All right, awesome.
All right, be good, Justin. Thanks again.
All right, Greg. Good to see you again.
Good to
You
see
take care
you.
and God
Take care,
bless.
my friend. God bless.